I'd like you to take a moment and think about if the friends and neighbors that live close to you that you have relationships with were to suddenly lose their homes and have to live under tarps, what you'd feel like and what you'd be willing to do to help them. These are what the people of Puerto Rico are currently living in. 60% of the population lives under tarps because of constant natural disasters. It is my belief that we must do something to change these situations and to improve their human rights. I will be taking you through the current situation and why you should be dissatisfied with it. And I will introduce two possible solutions. And then I will visualize a better life for the people of Puerto Rico in your head. The first major problem in Puerto Rico is the infrastructure. In the last hurricane the big hurricane in 2017, Hurricane Maria, suffered 10,000 homes were destroyed, which left roughly 60% of the population homeless. Currently, those people are living under like canopies, like you'd see at a sporting event, with no walls, and so every time it rains, they're rained on, and they're exposed to all elements. The mayor of San Juan, Carmen Yulín Cruz, says natural disasters leave more and more citizens homeless without help from the federal government. And this year there was an earthquake a couple months ago that had landslides that destroyed 3 neighborhoods in the city of San Juan. That was in an interview from the Washington Post. The big thing now is they're considering a human rights issue where they're saying that they are not being treated right because the federal government abandons them every time that something happens. And it's not just the current administration, it's the administrations before, and ever since Puerto Rico has joined the United States, they have been neglected. With the Hurricane Maria, they received no water and no food from the federal government for multiple weeks, and many people died of starvation because there was no clean drinking water or clean food. Everything had been contaminated with the salt water. I'd like to introduce the two solutions. The first one would be to release them from like the protectorate of the United States, which would give them the right to create their own government. And independence would give them cultural freedom, because right now in the United States they have to learn English in schools while the majority of the population is native Spanish speaking, which is struggling for them because they don't understand English that well. So, and then it would give them better economic trade with countries outside, like Norway is a big pharmaceutical buyer for them. But that would also leave them without aid at all, so it'd be all human rights groups providing money, supplies, and other useful materials to help them rebuild their homes. The other option is statehood, which becoming a state under the Constitution gives you an extra $10 billion in federal funding a year, which can be used to rebuild the homes and then upgrade the electric grid and infrastructure, providing safe homes, safe buildings for the people to work in. It also gives them access to state of emergencies, which are mandated by the federal government to supply food, water, and any other supplies that they might need to survive. Another quote by Carmen Yulín Cruz, that statehood is necessary for the prosperity of the Puerto Rican people, which means that without the aid from the government, that they won't be able to prosper and survive on their own. And now I'd like to take a moment to realize the current situation in Puerto Rico. After Hurricane Maria, in the following 9 months, over 4,000 people died related to the hurricane from starvation and dying of thirst because there was no aid brought in. And now there's people still dying from causes related for them not receiving treatment that should have been given to them after the hurricane. The current death total is over 10,000, and then many people still live under tarps and without walls and just in a big heap of rubble. They build their tarp homes on top of the old homes because they don't have the resources or the manpower to remove the rubble. But becoming a statehood will allow them to slowly build safer infrastructure, to build a stronger and safer electric grid. And there are plans with the extra funds that they will receive from the government to build a coastal protection system. So I talked to you about the current situation and why you should be dissatisfied with the current conditions that people are living in. We talked about the solutions for statehood and the prosperity that would bring to the people. And then the ways you can help are to petition to your Congress members to vote on Puerto Rico's state, like to vote them in as a state, and then you can also provide financial aid to support groups that support the people. And then the people of Puerto Rico need our help to make change. Thank you.
Fine.